nothing now.
I don't play. Give me.
Why want me nothing now? Give me control. You dey.
Who dey craze?
You dey craze?
Who dey mad?
Are you okay?
What happens when the love of your life isn't who you think they are? What if the man you married is not from this world? Get ready to unravel the chilling truths in Akuda, where love, betrayal, and the supernatural collide in ways you never expected. In today's recap, we dive into the jaw-dropping confrontation between Aridunu and Bewaji, where the truth about his identity leaves us reeling. Stay tuned till the end. You won't believe what happens next. The scene opens with the calm and contemplative musings of the professor. The sounds of the world are muted as he begins to speak. His voice resonates with wisdom and a deep understanding of the human condition, inviting the audience into a world that is as complex and mysterious as life itself. The world, he begins, his tone measured and deliberate, is far older than any of us can comprehend. This life we live is not a mere passage of time. It is a deep, complex journey that traverses corners of mystery, corners we may never fully understand. The professor's voice grows louder, more impassioned. The world is a door that opens and closes, that turns, twists, and traps us. Yet, we who are alive, who breathe and feel the warmth of the sun on our skin, must recognize that there are beings, forces beyond our comprehension, who govern the way things unfold. He pauses, letting the weight of his words hang in the air. The audience feels the depth of his statement. And he who denies the existence of these forces, he adds with intensity, is already forgotten, though he is not yet buried. His monologue lingers, a chilling reflection on life's transient nature. The camera zooms in on his face, his expression one of profound contemplation. It invites the audience to reflect on their own understanding of life, its unseen forces, and their place in the world. The narrative shifts softly to the intimacy of a husband and wife, Aridunu and Bewaji. They are lying in bed, their faces relaxed in peaceful slumber. The night is quiet, and the world outside feels distant, like a faraway memory. But this calmness is soon interrupted as Aridunu wakes up. Stretching, he rises from the bed and quietly leaves the room, his movements barely making a sound. Minutes later, he returns to find Bewaji still asleep. A knowing smile crosses his face as he pulls out a letter from his pocket. With a gentle touch, he hands it to her. She stirs, groggy at first, but her eyes widen as she reads the contents. A proposal. Will you marry me? The words are simple, yet profound. Bewaji's heart swells with joy, and as she looks up at him, she finds a ring, nestled within the folds of the letter. Her heart races. Yes, she whispers, her voice full of emotion. Aridunu's face lights up, and in that moment, their future together feels like a dream realized. The world outside may be vast and unknown, but in that instant, they find solace in each other's love. The air between them crackles with the energy of a new beginning. The scene transitions to a lively conversation between Bewaji and her friend. Bewaji's friend, filled with excitement, asks about her former relationship. Bewaji informs that her former boyfriend, Dayo, has gone on to marry a white woman. It's a revelation that surprises Bewaji's friend, and she admits that she never expected this turn of events. They talk about love, loss, and the many unexpected turns relationships take. The conversation shifts to lighter topics, but there's a sense that Bewaji is eager to share her own happiness. I'm so happy for you, Bewaji's friend says sincerely. Any man who will marry you won't stress you. The conversation continues, but Bewaji begins to grow restless. She made plans with her friend for a boat cruise, and her friend, eager for an adventure, asks her to inform her husband to join them. The air between them is filled with an electric anticipation, a sense that something important is on the horizon. The scene shifts to the boat, where the friends are enjoying a carefree day on the water. Laughter fills the air as they sail through the calm waves, each couple lost in their own happiness. Aridunu and Bewaji are playful with each other, enjoying the beauty of the moment. Their love seems effortless, their connection undeniable. But as the day progresses, a subtle tension begins to grow. The playful flirting turns into intimacy, and soon the couple retreats to their cabin. The friends, left behind, laugh amongst themselves, but exchange knowing glances. The playful speculation of what might happen next looms in the air. The boat cruise eventually ends, and the group arrives at the lodge, where they will stay for the week. The atmosphere is warm and welcoming, but beneath the surface, an undercurrent of tension begins to grow. Bewaji and Aridunu take the master bedroom, while the others settle into their respective rooms. Ladun, Aridunu's friend, jokes about the special treatment the couple is receiving. Later that evening, the group plays the lemon game. The atmosphere, once light-hearted, becomes charged with tension. As the game progresses, Odunsi, Ladun's husband, loses repeatedly, and each loss is met with a shot of alcohol. The night wears on, and the tension between Odunsi and Ibrahim, another husband, builds. Words are exchanged, escalating into a full-blown argument. The situation grows increasingly uncomfortable, and the once jovial group is now separated by conflict. The night ends in chaos, with everyone retreating to their rooms, unsure of how things spiraled out of control. As the night settles into silence, both Odunsi and Ibrahim reflect on their outbursts. Their wives are confused, unable to understand what prompted such extreme reactions. The suspicion that something deeper is at play begins to take root, and a feeling of dread settles over the house. Later, three spirits, Edimidi, Bomo, and Bilal, reveal themselves, explaining that they are responsible for the discord among the group. They laugh eerily as they discuss how they manipulated the emotions of the men, causing the fight. The witches linger in the shadows, plotting further disruption. Bewaji wakes with a jolt, disturbed by a dream of spirits in the house. She tells Aridunu about the dream, but he dismisses it as overactive imagination. Yet, the strange happenings and the eerie presence of the witches suggest otherwise. The spirits are not done yet, and they have plans for the group. The spirits, frustrated that their time in the house is being restricted, unleash chaos. The house begins to shake, the walls creak, and the air is thick with tension. The group awakens, feeling as though the house might collapse. Panic sets in as they flee the rooms, unsure of what is happening, but certain that something sinister is at play. The chaos from the previous night continues as the group rushes out of the cursed house. The eerie silence that follows wraps around them like a suffocating cloak. They return to their homes, leaving behind the apartment that was never theirs to begin with. A temporary refuge that turned into a nightmare. As Bewaji's mind races with questions about the events at the retreat, she seeks answers. Her journey leads her to the professor, who has spoken so cryptically about the unseen forces of the world. She enters his office, greeted by an air of mystery. The professor listens to her concerns, offering cryptic wisdom. He presents her with a book, Televised Destiny, promising that it will help her understand the true nature of the events unfolding in her life. Aridunu reads the book, and the world of its story begins to blur with her own reality. The book tells the story of a family who purchases the same apartment Aridunu and Bewaji once stayed in. As they move in, the youngest daughter begins seeing strange marks on the television. Spirits haunt the house, and despite the family's skepticism, the strange occurrences escalate. In a chilling twist, the daughter sees a character on the TV clutches his chest in agony, and soon after, her father does the same. The family is devastated as their world unravels, and they realize they are trapped in a nightmarish reality. Bewaji is shaken by what she just read. She returns the book to the professor, fearful of what she has discovered. The professor confirms that the family's tragedy was caused by the spirits haunting the apartment, spirits that had claimed them, just as they had claimed their own family. The office is silent, the only sound the steady ticking of a clock on the wall. Bewaji listens intently, her mind racing as she struggles to grasp the magnitude of what is unfolding. Her curiosity is piqued, her hunger for answers deepening. The professor's voice breaks the silence, calm, yet carrying an intensity that resonates with her very soul. There are creatures, the professor begins, his gaze fixed and unwavering, that live beyond the understanding of humans. These beings are not bound by time or death as we are. They exist in a realm that is neither fully alive nor entirely dead. These beings are known as the living wraiths, also called Akuda. Bewaji's brow furrows in confusion as she hears the name. Akuda, she repeats softly, the name heavy on her tongue. Then, in a sudden twist, the professor speaks words that send a chill through her. The Akuda I wrote about in my book, he continues, his voice now laced with a quiet intensity, was named Aridunu. The words hang in the air, heavy with significance. The professor's voice fades, and the scene shifts, taking us back in time to a memory long buried. Aridunu, a young man, stands with his mother, bidding her farewell as he heads back to school. His mother prays fervently for his safety, her hands clasped in a desperate plea for protection as he prepares to leave. The camera zooms in on young Aridunu's face, determined, focused on his studies. He is not distracted by the world around him, even when his girlfriend tries to pull him into youthful distractions. He gently, but firmly, tells her that his studies come first, that he is determined to succeed. Fast forward to a fateful day, when Aridunu, now a young man, is escorting some friends. As he walks down the street, his thoughts are consumed with his future, the life he is building. Suddenly, chaos erupts. Police officers are chasing someone, and before Aridunu can react, he finds himself caught in the crossfire. Mistaking him for a thief, the officers chase him. The tension builds with each step, and in an instant, a gunshot rings out. Aridunu collapses in the street, his life extinguished in a moment of confusion and violence. The world around him fades to black. Back at Aridunu's home, his friend calls out to him, rushing to catch up after Aridunu had left to visit his mother. He realizes Aridunu has forgotten his watch. As he steps outside to catch up, there is no sign of his friend. Confused, he turns back, only to receive a call moments later. Aridunu has been shot dead. Stunned and speechless, he rushes to the scene. But when he arrives, he's taken aback. The clothes Aridunu is wearing are not the same ones he had on earlier. Something is terribly wrong. The scene cuts to Aridunu's mother, at home, preparing a meal for her son. When she is informed of his death, she can't comprehend the words. The absurdity of the situation overwhelms her, but her confusion turns to suspicion as she rushes back into the house. Desperate to find the truth, she calls for him. Aridunu, her voice thick with sorrow. When she steps into the room, she sees him standing there, his back turned to her. "Why are you backing away from me?" she asks, fear creeping into her voice. But before she can approach him, Aridunu vanishes before her eyes, disappearing like a shadow in the dark. Back in the present, the professor continues his story, his voice calm but charged with an unspoken urgency. "What you are hearing is not just a story," he says, locking eyes with Bewaji. "It is the truth." Aridunu is somewhere out there, living life as someone else. Bewaji, still shaken by the revelation, asks in a voice barely above a whisper, "Do you know the village where Aridunu is from? Can you tell me where it is?" The professor pauses, then slowly nods. He tells her the location, confirming what she feared. The truth is closer than she ever imagined. Determined to uncover the truth, Bewaji embarks on a journey to find answers. She feels a growing need to understand the forces that have shaped her life and the man she calls her husband. This compulsion leads her to a distant village, where she learns of a tragic consequence that has followed Aridunu's death. The news is devastating. Aridunu's mother, overcome by the grief of losing her only son, has gone blind. Aridunu's cousin, who brings Bewaji to the village, explains that after her son's death, the mother cried endlessly. Her sorrow consumed her so completely that it led to her blindness. Bewaji, horrified, feels the weight of this unbearable loss. Upon seeing the mother for the first time, Bewaji is struck by the depth of the grief that hangs over the woman. Her voice, tinged with both love and lament, echoes in the quiet of the room. She speaks of how Aridunu was taken from her, a son she had late in life, the child she had so fiercely protected. The sorrow that followed his passing has defined every day of her life since then, and the pain of his absence continues to haunt her every moment. As Bewaji listens, something begins to stir deep within her. She is not only faced with the tragic reality of her mother-in-law's suffering, but also with the mysterious connection between her husband's past and the strange occurrences in her own life. The weight of it all presses heavily on her heart. The conversation shifts to a strange discovery. The cousin pulls out an old photograph, one of Aridunu. When Bewaji sees it, she is stunned. The man in the photograph looks exactly like her husband, Aridunu. The resemblance is uncanny, so much so that it feels as though the man in the photo could be standing right before her. Her pulse quickens as she processes the revelation. This photograph is from a time long before she ever met Bewaji, and yet the connection is undeniable. The shock overwhelms her, and she demands to see the burial site where Aridunu was laid to rest. They take her to the village cemetery, where the truth is revealed. The grave before her bears the name of Aridunu, the very name she once thought belonged to her husband. It is his grave, the one she never knew existed. The man she married, the one she had shared her life with, was not who he appeared to be. The earth beneath her feet feels like it is crumbling as the truth settles in. Bewaji's heart races, and she finds herself questioning everything she thought she knew. Aridunu The man she loved was not human. He was an Akuda, a wraith existing beyond the boundaries of life and death. With her heart heavy with the weight of this new knowledge, Bewaji returns home. Aridunu acted completely unaware of the journey she has just taken, or the truths she has uncovered, greets her with his usual calm. But Bewaji cannot hide the storm of emotions swirling within her. She confronts him with the truth she has learned, demanding to know the nature of his existence. In the wake of her shock, Bewaji finally reveals something to Aridunu that she has kept hidden. "I'm pregnant," she whispers, her voice full of emotion. Aridunu's face lights up with joy at the news, and for a fleeting moment, it seems as if the reality of their love can overcome the dark truths that now bind them. He suggests they celebrate the promise of new life, offering a glimmer of hope in the otherwise overwhelming darkness. Aridunu leaves to fetch wine for their celebration, but when he came back, something unimaginable happens. He disappears. In his absence, his voice begins to echo through the house. Aridunu's heart races as she hears him speak, though he is not physically present. "I know you have found out the truth," his voice says, its presence surrounding her like a suffocating fog. "I am an Akuda. This love I have for you is like the head is to the neck. It cannot be severed." Bewaji trembles as the full weight of Aridunu's words sinks in. His love for her transcends a life and death, an eternal bond that neither time nor the grave can undo. He continues, "The only reason I am still living is to leave a child behind in this world, a legacy." The realization hits her. If she had not sought the truth, they might have lived together for a very long time, undisturbed by the horrors of his true nature. As the final words of Aridunu's voice echo through the house, Bewaji is left in stunned silence. The truth of her husband's existence is too much to comprehend. She realizes that the love he has for her is not just bound by this world. It transcends life and death itself. The room feels cold and empty, despite the warmth of the love that once filled it. Bewaji, now faced with the reality of her husband's true nature, must reconcile the love she feels with the terrifying truth that he is not human, and never truly was. And just like that, the truth is revealed. Aridunu, no longer the man Bewaji thought she knew, is an Akuda, trapped between life and death. His love for her, a bond that transcends the grave, leaving us to question what love really means. But what will happen to their unborn child? Can a love that stretches beyond death ever truly find peace? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more Naija film recaps, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the latest updates. Thanks for watching, and remember, in the world of Naija films, truth is stranger than fiction. See you in the next recap.